24/7.
Good afternoon. The telecom regulator's deadline for feedback on net neutrality ends today, and Cellular Operators Association of India is addressing a press conference. Let's listen in.
Over the last 20 years, 15 years, 670,000 crores. Our return on investment, there's a lot of talk about the margins this industry make. The return on investment in this industry is just 1%. I would be better off putting my money into savings bank deposit than into this kind of a return. And many operators today make negative returns. So what is needed? What is needed is, while the investment in the last 20 years has been 750,000 crores, the last chart was 15 years, and 750,000 crores in the last 20 years. Like I said, to make the internet available to 1 billion Indians, to make the internet available, the industry needs to invest over 500,000 crores in just 5 years. So you've got a very strange conundrum. Investment that is required, which is massive, return on capital that is just 1%. And the question is, why will that investment come? How will that investment come? So what is needed? 3 things. First is a financially sustainable industry. Without this investment in infrastructure, without this 500,000 crores, there will be no internet. There will be absolutely no internet. We will be a dark country with just the infrastructure that we have. What is also needed is an open and pro-innovation environment. What we are very clear is that we as a telecom company don't do a bunch of the innovation. The innovation is happening around us. It's happening by the device players. It's happening by OTT players. And it also must be by telcos. We love the OTT world because OTTs are the reason for our internet business. Without OTTs, we would not have an internet business. Let me give you some facts. Our voice growth as an industry, while we are growing voice, the growth of voice is slowing down. The growth of the mobile internet is the growth of the future. And let's face it, what people use is not a megabyte or a gigabyte. What people use is Facebook. What people use is YouTube. What people use is music, entertainment, commerce. We want the choice for customers to decide what they need to do. We need affordable smartphones, and we need vibrant apps communities. But one of the things that we need as an industry, and this is the only ask as an industry, is that we must have the same service, the same rules for the same service. Basic communication services are subject to a whole bunch of rules as an industry. We have to contribute to rural infrastructure through contributing to Rural Development Fund. We have to contribute to license fees which run into 15-16%. We have to contribute to national security obligations to prevent misuse, to prevent terrorist attacks, and there is a lot of work that we need to do to actually make sure that these calls are monitored in terms of lawful intercept and so on. The only ask that we have is that when anybody is providing the same basic communication services, the same voice services, they must be subject to the same rules. Because the arbitrage that is available, if you are not subject to the same rules, will lead to a situation where infrastructure will be jeopardized. And I've told you the return on investment that this industry makes. So, in conclusion, we've got to build Digital India together. This is not something that we can do alone as a telecom industry. We have to work with the digital ecosystem, with device players, with equipment providers, with apps, with content providers, with the OTT system, and with the government to help build Digital India together. Thank you very much.
Just make a quick announcement. This is an association.
Just a quick announcement on this. Please remember this is an association presentation, and so we would stay away from answering questions on any specific member companies' issues. So you're free to ask questions. And so, Himanshu, thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. My name is Himanshu. As you just heard Gopal who's Vice Chairman of COAI, presenting. So my task, I've been nominated to be the bridge against your question, and I'll try to answer most of the questions. Please direct all the questions to me. I'll try to answer most of the questions, and whatever I feel that's not able to give full information, I will request a concerned member to be able to to respond on the specifically. But as Rajan did mention, this is an association and this is an industry, and we will be responding only to questions which pertain on a larger interest of the industry, not on a specifics of any individual member. Before I open the House for questions, I'm just going to make quick 3 or 4 summary points what Gopal has said. First and foremost, why are we here today? We are here today because of the fact that TRAI has issued a consultation paper to discuss the regulatory framework for OTT services in India. The unfortunate part is, instead of having a healthy and informed debate, which should have been an outcome of this incisive and detailed consultation paper, the netizens have bombarded by misinformation in the social media. The telecom service providers have needlessly been vilified, and TRAI has been flooded with pre-programmed responses from users and non-users. As you're aware, telecom service providers are in India amongst one of the champions of liberalization of economy. For the last 20 years, this industry has worked together with government and with regulation in the toughest of conditions to be able to turn this industry from the lowest in the world, where there was no telephony access, to currently the second largest in the world with 950 million subscribers, and presence across length and breadth of the country, not for few, but across the length and breadth of country to over 5 lakh customers. And with an investment of 7,50,000 crores. As my dear friend Gopal mentioned, the industry has a debt of 3 lakh crores. It means the industry has invested its own funds of 4.5 lakh crores to be able to get the country where it is today. We believe there has been a major revolution where a lot of people want to take credit of as far as voice services are concerned. And industry has made major efforts to connect all India. But we are now at a cusp of a second revolution. There seems to be, on the social media world, a feeling that India has arrived on internet and it all needs protection. We are forgetting at this point of time that India is just about started the journey on internet. Its current position is lowest in the world at around 142. As per GSMA, which rates the world together, and it doesn't look at geographies, it puts India at the lowest category on internet world, on a discoverer in the world, equivalent to what's happening in Africa. Reason for that? There is no doubt. The media talks about 200 million users of internet, large number it looks like in comparison to others, but it is still 20% of Indians. But the fact remains, this 200 million internet users today are using at low speeds. Most of them are using at low speeds and not broadband users, using at low speeds at 150 kilobits per second to 256 kilobits per second. And the broadband users are just 86 million users. So that means there is elites in the country who are currently the broadband users. So do we want India to remain an elite internet industry, or do we want India to be an industry for the masses? And that to us, and the telecom service providers are the bridge between making sure the have-nots today have access to internet. But for doing the task, massive investments needs to be done. 5 lakh crores is what our estimate is for the next 5 years to be able to put infrastructure and 3G and 4G services to reach larger part of Indian villages. And not only about investments, but a very massive effort has to be done. The people of India knew what voice services are there in this country, but people of India do not know what role does internet play in their lives. It is no more about voice. It is about newer applications. It is what the new telecom policy 2012 has envisaged, broadband for all. And the telecom industry, this industry association, is committed to be able to deliver that. And for this, we need to attract investors who are prepared to give us returns. So in this light, please ask questions in this background about, is the discussion only about net neutrality, but is the discussion about net equality? Are we going to be a net for few, or are we going to be net for all? Okay, we open first question. The rules are, we'll prefer to have one at best, two questions per individual. And
Hi, my name is Malvika Jain. I'm from CNBC TV 18 towards your left.
yes, please.
When you talk of net equality, and when you say that all the communication service providers over the internet should be treated equally, do you feel that a licensing regime of some sort should be put in place for OTT players who are offering communication services? And also, as far as the zero rating platforms are concerned, there is a criticism that in the short run, while it may not have any significant impact over a longer period, it will impact consumer preferences. How do you defend this criticism?
Yeah.
You mentioned that telecom companies are needlessly being verified on the net. I just want to ask, as you mentioned about OTT players being regulated, is there a middle path that you think that is possible, that needs to be identified? Just mention that.
So let me ask, there are two parts of the question that have been asked. First question is, if same service, same rules, does it mean licensing? Is my interpretation of the question, if I have to simplify it. The answer is, it is not industry's endeavor to ask for licensing. It is not industry's endeavor to be able to ask for licensing. For us, only that we are asking is communication services should apply same service, same rule. It's the role of the government, and that's the reason why TRAI has put up a consultation paper for it to decide. Industry is not asking for licenses. It's part one. But let me extend it. The fears that exist in the world of innovation, because there is going to be licenses for communication services, which is the voice services that we've been offering for the last 20 years, does it mean that we're demanding for licenses for applications, newer applications, the innovative applications? Definitely no. Industry is not asking for any licenses for applications and innovation that exists. So from all that. Yes, Sunil.
In fact, what I want to add is that what we are saying is internet should be completely free. The developers should develop what they want to be able to and innovate what they want. The users should have the free choice of choosing exactly which site they want to go to and what app they want to use. We are not saying anything should be licensed. At the same time, we as an industry want to affirm that we do not believe, nor have we ever choked or constricted any access to any location or any site. Okay, I just want to add that we have always believed in the free internet, and we as an industry affirm that we will continue to do so in the future.
I take the second part of the question. There is a lot of emotive issues, and we're reading a lot of stuff on one specific plan, the zero-rated plan. So first and foremost, I'll want to spend half a minute to understand what is the role of telecom service provider. Telecom service provider provides the platform which connects OTT service provider with the customer. We are the ones who makes 99% of the investments, large financial investments. We are the one to be able to build this large infrastructure. For us to be able to get a return of the infrastructure, the obvious model is to charge the customer. But it is not so obvious if we are talking of 1 billion Indians.
All right, Telecom Cellular Operators Association there speaking on the issue of net neutrality, the entire furor that there's been over it. Today is the deadline for the telecom regulators, deadline for people writing in on the issue of net neutrality, and many people, in fact over 1 million, have written in.
But there are some of them
All right, let's go across to Nikita now, who joins us for more on that. Nikita, we just heard the cellular operators. They're talking about this entire debate over net neutrality and the way it's got pitched and how the TRAI has been attacked by many over this entire issue, essentially defending at one hand speaking about net neutrality, but also defending TRAI in the entire debate.
Yes, absolutely, Gargi. You know, this has been a debate that's been raging across the country. We've heard people speak passionately about it, for it, against it. But I have some people here with me who also have a very strong opinion about it. Rose, tell me, you have yourself written an email to TRAI. Yeah. What is your opinion on the issue? You know, the TRAI has received over 1 million emails. Are you hopeful that this is going to be a verdict out in the favor of netizens?
While I cannot say much for the verdict, I can definitely say that as a citizen and as a person who uses the internet, we are going to still protest against TRAI's initiative to restrict content on the internet. We definitely need to take a stand against this kind of capital domination, because it's not fair that we have to pay more than what we already are for content that should definitely be free to us and accessible to us on the internet.
Right, absolutely. You know, we just heard some telecom operators talking about it, and they're saying that netizens have in fact bombarded the media with their ideas and, you know, defending TRAI in a sense with their proposal of going against net neutrality. What do you have to say about that? Is there something you'd like to tell them?
Well, the thing is that about defending TRAI, I'd say that why the internet is a free domain. As people, as citizens, we have a right to information. We have the right to access the internet without having to pay extra charges. So why do we have to pay for things like viewing a YouTube video or for checking going on a Google search, for instance? It is something that should be available to us as citizens.
Something that should be available to us as citizens, but that's what they're also saying, that, you know, we've heard a lot of people actually back out. You saw Flipkart backing out of the Airtel Zero deal. Yesterday we heard Snapdeal as well, you know, saying that they support net neutrality. What do you have to say about that? We've seen a lot of participation.
That's the exact thing that they had to do, because when Flipkart started, they had access to equal net. So we, all of my friends, for example, when they start up, they must have equal internet, and there must not be some discrimination, so that to kill the competition and all.
Right. Okay. Startups will get more of an opportunity. You know, startups will be crippled sort of if net neutrality is not protected. That's his point. But is there something? You know, today is the last day when you're actually allowed to submit your suggestions to the Telecom Regulatory Authority. Is there something you'd like to tell the government? Is there something you'd like to tell the telecom operators?
I think before implementing such a big policy, the government should take the views of the citizenship, the common man. And I think a 118-pager policy cannot be read by everyone in such a little time, because I think half of the people don't know what is net neutrality. So I think government should give us more time.
Okay. So I think that's the verdict here, that, you know, a 118-page document cannot be read in less than a month. But everybody really here saying that net neutrality is important. The internet is really one place where everybody is equal, and that right must be protected.
All right, Nikita, thanks so much for joining us there, and all those people who voiced their opinion on this issue. Moving on to the other big story, we're tracking politics over the death of farmer Gajendra Singh.